everyone, my name is Jenny and welcome to my channel Time and Love. If you're new here, I share lots of different vegan recipe ideas, travel videos, and today I have a new video series that I'm starting. It's What's for Dinner, where I'm going to show you what I have for dinner during the week, showing you new vegan recipe ideas, what I'm eating, if I'm trying different recipes that I find in a cookbook or online, or I'm creating my own recipe. Every week will be a little bit different. I have watched a few different YouTubers who do these types of videos and I really love watching them, but I wanted to do a series but vegan style, and I think it'd be really fun because I think a lot of people wonder, and I get asked all the time, well, like, I just don't know what to make you for dinner if you come over since you're vegan. It's like an automatic response from family and friends, and I just want to show people how easy it is to make vegan recipes for dinner, and they don't have to be like super weird to omnivores. They can please everybody. And so this is going to be the first video in this series, and I'm super excited to show you what I'm having this week for dinner. So let's go ahead and check it out. Tonight for dinner, I'm making one of my favorite easy tofu recipes. I'm making my orange tofu, and it is so good. It's so much better than ordering takeout, and you know everything that's going in to what you are eating. So to start the recipe, I'm gonna press and drain this is one 14-ounce package of organic extra firm tofu, and I'm gonna use my tofu press, and this just helps get a lot of the liquid out of the tofu. This is super inexpensive, and this little contraption, you can get it on Amazon, and I just find it so much easier than pressing the tofu with like underneath a bunch of like books on top of it to weigh down the tofu to get the liquid out. So it's really inexpensive. I will put a link down below if you want to check this out for yourself if you don't have one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drain the tofu and then put it in the tofu press. Okay, so I have our tofu, and then I'm just going to add this up, and then just slide the tofu right in, and I give it a little push, and then I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit more. Okay, so I had to loosen the little knobs a little bit more, and now the tofu just slides in really easily, and I kind of like put it halfway through. Oops, this is like really sliding. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten these up. And then as the tofu presses, I like to tighten it a little bit more. Just tighten. Go as much as you can. And then I just like to turn the tofu press up like this and put it on a plate with a rim, and the rim will help catch any of the water that is pressed out of the tofu. And I will at least let this press for at least 15 minutes, but probably up to a half an hour, just to help get as much liquid out as possible. It just really depends on how much time you have. If you're short on time, you could even probably go 10 minutes, but the longer the better. The tofu is done pressing. I let it go a little bit longer than 30 minutes, and you can see all the water that came out from the tofu on the plate, and it's just gonna help create a crisper tofu when it bakes, not having this much water still in the tofu. Okay, so now I am just going to remove the tofu from the press, just release it, and then pop that up, and then pop the tofu out. There it comes. Oop. And then I'm just going to cut the tofu into cubes. Now I'm just going to add our cube tofu into a large mixing bowl. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch and coconut aminos or tamari. I happen to have coconut aminos on hand. And the cornstarch is just going to help create better texture for the tofu. And then the coconut aminos is going to give some seasoning to the tofu. And a tablespoon of cornstarch. And then our coconut aminos or tamari. You can also use soy sauce, whatever you have on hand. And then I'm just gonna mix this all up. Okay, and I just lined a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and then I'm just going to place our tofu onto the baking sheet. And then I'm just going to spread it out. And I've already went ahead and preheated the oven to 400. And then I'm going to bake the tofu for about 25 to 30 minutes, flipping it halfway through. Our tofu is almost done baking in the oven, so now I'm going to start on the orange sauce that we are going to toss the tofu in. I'm just going to add a cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. A 1/4 cup of water. You could also use vegetable broth. 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos or tamari. 1 and 2. And then 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. This is going to be it for all our liquid ingredients. And now I'm going to add some aromatics. I'm going to just grate in some fresh garlic and ginger, and I just love using this little grater thing to grate it right over into the pan. There's 1 garlic clove, and then I just like to tap it. Makes things so much easier. Just be careful with your fingers. Okay, oops. We had a little casualty. That's okay. And then our fresh ginger. And I just love anything with ginger. So good. Alright. And see how fine that grates it? I just love it. If it sticks a little bit, just kind of scoop it out. Alright, now I'm going to bring this to a boil and let it cook for about 2-3 minutes. The tofu is done baking and our sauce is simmering on the stove and it's almost done. And when it's thickened, I'm going to go ahead and add our baked tofu right into the sauce. So now I'm going to go ahead and add our cornstarch slurry to the orange sauce, and I just have a 1/4 cup of water mixed with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to pour it right in. This is going to create a really nice thick sauce that's going to coat the tofu. So our orange sauce has thickened up nicely. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in our baked tofu. And then give it a stir. Then I'm just gonna let this cook for a few more minutes. And this is very saucy. I like a little bit extra sauce because I like to serve it over rice and then pour some of that extra sauce over the rice, and it's so good. So I went ahead and plated up my dinner. I have some steamed brown rice. Usually I like to serve this with white rice, but today I was in the mood for just some steamed brown rice. And then I put some of the orange tofu on top and then some of the extra orange sauce because I'm obsessed. And I also normally like roasted broccoli with this dish, but I didn't have any broccoli and I was craving sweet potatoes, so I went ahead and roasted up a sweet potato. And I just like to garnish it with a little bit of sliced green onions, and that is what I'm having tonight for dinner. This tofu is so good. The orange sauce is kind of like sweet and sticky, and it coats the tofu so good. And this recipe is also completely oil-free, so if you follow like a plant-based oil-free diet, this would be great for you. I do eat oil, but it's great to have some oil-free options. And if you are looking for a new tofu recipe, this definitely is one to try. Tonight for dinner, I'm making a recipe that I have never made before, but I wanted to test this recipe for my blog, so I thought I would have it for dinner tonight. Just an idea sometimes pops into my head for a recipe, and then I will try it out and see if it works, if it's a success or a complete failure. I had this idea to make kind of like a Cajun-inspired vegetable pasta with fettuccine noodles, and I have not made it yet. I've actually had this idea for this recipe probably a few years ago, and I just, whenever I have an idea for a recipe, I just jot it down in my notebook, and then I will either test it out right away or come back to it at another time. But I'm really excited because I'm trying a new vegan product that's out on the market. I have not had this yet, but I thought it would make a really delicious pasta sauce. I am going to be using the new heavy whipping cream from Silk. I haven't tried this, but I found it in my local grocery store, so I can't wait to see how it is in a pasta recipe, if it creates like a creamy sauce and what it tastes like. I'm super excited. So that will be kind of creating a creamy kind of fettuccine style pasta. And then the vegetables will be like mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, garlic, and then Cajun seasoning. So let's go ahead and test out this recipe. So first I'm going to heat my pan over medium-high heat. And I'm using a pan that I'm going to be able to toss the pasta in once the pasta is cooked. And then I also have over here, while that heats up, a large pot with water, and then I'm just going to go ahead and get that heated so the pasta is ready at the same time as the sauce. I think I'm going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. That looks good. Okay, so I went ahead and prepped all of the veggies so they're ready to go. I have 1 medium red onion that I've just sliced. And then I have a couple bell peppers. I have 2 red bell peppers and then 1 green red bell pepper. Oh, I can't talk. Green bell pepper sliced. And then I have 1 pound of white button mushrooms that I went ahead and sliced as well. I went ahead and quartered that. So add those to the pot. And I'm not going to give the veggies a stir just yet, but I am going to add Cajun seasoning. And I have never used Cajun seasoning before, but this is one that I picked up at my store. They also had a hot one, but I just got this one. I'm going to probably add a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to go ahead and give everything a stir. Alright, our veggies have cooked down, and now I'm going to grate in some garlic, and I'm just using my handy dandy little grater, which I love. garlic overboard. Now I'm going to pour in about 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. And then a cup of the Silk Heavy whipping cream. It looks so thick and creamy. I'm super excited to see how it works in this sauce recipe. Now I'm just going to bring this to a boil and then let it reduce at least by half, and then our pasta should be done cooking, and then we will assemble our Cajun veggie fettuccine. I actually completely forgot that I was going to add some diced Roma tomatoes to the pasta, so I'm going to go ahead and grab those. I'm not sure how I forgot about that, but it should be fine. Like I said, this is a recipe test, and sometimes things like this happen. It does. It's okay. Now I will just give that a stir. Alright. I'm excited for dinner. This smells so good. So our pasta sauce has reduced. I went ahead and added a little bit more Cajun seasoning, and then I also added a little bit of salt and pepper. And then our fettuccine noodles are done. So I went ahead and just drained them and add them right in. Hopefully everything fits in the pan. Oops. And a little noodle. And then I'm just gonna take my tongs and just try and carefully toss this all together. And I'm just gonna garnish the pasta with some parsley and then some green onions. I already can tell that if I make this again, depending on how it turns out, taste-wise, I probably would use less liquid just to have a thicker pasta sauce. Overall, this is really good. I definitely would reduce the vegetable broth just so that it's a little bit creamier. And I think that I would add the vegetable broth first and let that cook down, and then add in the vegan heavy cream. But overall, this is definitely really good for a first recipe try, and I definitely will be remaking it and tweaking the recipe a little bit with those minor changes. And I might even add some more veggies into the pasta, and I will definitely post the recipe to my blog when I retest it and get it just right to share with you guys. But if you're a fan of Cajun stuff, Cajun recipes, I definitely think pasta is a great vehicle to use some Cajun spice. So that is what we're having for dinner tonight. Tonight for dinner, I'm keeping things pretty easy. I recently I ordered from QVC some vegan meatballs from Mama Mancini's, and I wanted to try them tonight for dinner. I'm super excited because they're made with Beyond Meat, and they're seasoned with Mama Mancini's sauce, and I just love trying new vegan products, especially when companies make vegan versions of their popular item. And I have the meatballs thawing, and they come packaged like this. They're completely thawed, and then you just heat and serve them. And on the back it says that they're the Beyond Meat ones. And instead of doing pasta, because I just wasn't feeling like pasta tonight, I am roasting a spaghetti squash in the oven right now, and it's almost done. So I think I'm going to go ahead and heat up the meatballs, and then I'm going to serve them with the spaghetti squash. And I think that's what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I'm just going to pour them into my saucepan. Get all that wonderful sauce out. I have really high hopes for these meatballs. I haven't had a good vegan meatball in a long time. I just took my spaghetti squash out of the oven, and I'm gonna go ahead and let it just cool for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shred the spaghetti squash and then put my vegan meatballs on top. So I'm about to try the Mama Mancini's vegan meatball for the first time, and I thought I would record it to get an honest reaction how I like them. It definitely can smell like the Beyond Meat for sure. If you can let that focus, is a bite of the meatball. So let's try it out. It's pretty good. Ooh, I'm getting like some fresh herbs, which is really nice. It definitely can taste the Beyond Meat, but also has some other flavors going on that Mama Mancini's added that I really like. Overall, I am impressed. Let's try it with the spaghetti squash. It's pretty good, I must say. Definitely makes for a quick and easy dinner. Definitely they would be good with like in a meatball sub or with like regular spaghetti. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more videos like this, if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up so I know you like to see more content like this. I'm going to try to have a video every week of what I'm having for dinner, and this week was very delicious. I tried a new recipe, a new product, and I made one of my favorite recipes. So it was a good week for what's for dinner. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!